I want this video to be like we're all having a sleepover. We're all sitting around, we have snacks, we have candy. We start telling each other our scariest and like creepiest stories. That's what I want the vibe to be. Hey guys, what's up? It's Lexi, and tonight I have a spooky story time. I am going to be a little quieter than normal. It's super late right now. It's like 2 in the morning and my husband's back there trying to go to sleep. Today's video is going to be about this person that I knew back in the day when I was still running amok. I'm going to talk about her haunted ass house, and at the time that I almost fought her because she's not only a thief, but she's a snitch. So we're gonna talk about some ratchet Lexi and some paranormal Lexi. I did tell this story years ago, I think like 2 years ago when I first started my channel, and the quality was so bad. But before we start, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We love everything paranormal, everything horror, and everything spiritual. I will leave my playlist somewhere up here if you're interested. Let's just get into it. So this happened years ago. My husband Rob and I were still using at the time, so we were not doing well. And one day we're all hanging out with friends. Everyone starts talking about this guy named Victor, how he has this big house, how he is always inviting people, giving them, he's really nice, he's really cool, and everyone's like, let's go over Victor's. So me and Rob were like, okay, let's go. So we go there, we meet this guy Victor. Right off the bat, he's super wild, super crazy, but he's really cool. He's really nice, and he instantly takes a liking to me and my husband Rob. So we hang out there all night. We have such a good time with him, and it was very true. He was kind of just giving away. So me and my husband, we start going out there more often, and every time we're about to leave, we could tell that he feels sad, like he looks sad. We could just tell that he was lonely. So sometimes we would just end up staying because we felt bad. And then this one day he's like, hey, how would you guys feel if you guys were to move in and live here like my roommates pretty much? He's like, I would love someone to be here as like my companion and just like help me out with things, give me rides when I need them, and just protect me. Victor's drug of choice was Xanax, and then he would do uppers. So there's a cycle where he would do Xanax for a few days and he would just pass out, and he'd wake up and then he would start doing the uppers. He would go into like a psychosis episode because he wouldn't sleep, he wouldn't eat, and then he was like not even able to take care of himself. So throughout those cycles that just kept repeating themselves, people would take advantage of him. They'd literally rob him. And there's an incident where he was almost robbed in front of me and my husband. And I feel like that's why he wanted us there in the first place. So once he asked us, we're like, yeah, we're down. We start staying there and we start meeting all of his friends, all these people that are constantly coming over. And with all these people coming over, I meet this girl named Beth. And me and her, we become really close. She starts asking me one day like, hey, have you met Jen? And I was like, no, I don't think so. Why? So she's like, surprised you haven't met her because Victor's like in love with her. If you do meet her, just be careful. She's not only a weirdo, but she's shady as fuck. So I'm kind of curious. I'm like, spill the tea, girl. Like, tell me everything you know. She's giving me a rundown of like the situation. This girl, she's like, okay, so let me tell you about Jen. She's this white girl, mid-30s. She has long black hair. She's got really pretty green eyes. And there's a reason why I'm describing what she looks like. But she was a bitch. Like, every time that I've had some kind of interaction with her, she was such a bitch. And she treated Victor like shit. And because he was in love with her, this man would jump at anything she would say. So she's like on the thinner side and she's tall. She also starts telling me that Jen has this house. Her parents had passed away. They'd given her the house. She starts inviting a bunch of people over, a bunch of fucked up people over, where they start crashing there, they start living there, they start living in this girl's backyard in tents. They're fucking her house up. A lot of people were ODing in the house, so ambulances, the cops were always being called to the house. So it was very evident the neighbors also did not fuck with her. And she also said that the house just overall had a bad vibe. But she said that the weirdest thing about Jen is that she would switch up on you. Like, she'd be super cool and then she'd go crazy on people. She'd start throwing shit at people. She'd start talking shit to you. She's like, there's something definitely off with that girl. So I'm like, okay, very interesting. Time passes, and this one day Victor wants to go over Jen's house. So we all get ready, we drive to her house, and once we get there, Jen comes outside. She starts telling my husband like where to park. So we park, he gets out of the truck to let Victor and I out. Jen comes straight out to my husband, starts talking to him, being super friendly, introducing herself, being so sweet. I'm behind my husband and I'm waiting for him to like move over so I could say hi to her. She says hi to Victor, cool, everything's fine. I go up to introduce myself. She looks me dead in the eye, and I remember thinking like, wow, she has really pretty eyes. She turns around, doesn't say a word to me, and just keeps walking. I look at Rob looks at me, and I'm like, what the fuck was that? I'm like, whatever. So we walk inside. So we go inside, and the first thing that I notice is that it's so dark in that house. Like, lights are on, but it's so fucking dark. The second thing I notice is that I'm feeling very uncomfortable. I start to tense up. Like, I feel like I'm on high alert. My palms are sweaty, mom's spaghetti. I remember thinking like, I'm probably dope sick. So I didn't pay it any mind. We're all kind of doing our thing. She starts to ask us if anyone needs anything to drink. And Jen kept telling Victor to bring a bong with him because hers had broke. We needed water for the bong, so I'm like, yes, can I have some water, please? And also, Jen didn't have anything to share. She didn't have anything to put in. We had gone over there for Victor to smoke her out. So she's like, yeah, sure, follow me. So I get up, I follow her to the kitchen. We're kind of like making small talk. I'm still feeling kind of tense, kind of awkward, and she turns around and starts grabbing like glasses out of the cupboard, out of the shelf. And if anyone has seen my ex possessed by a succubus story, I had said in that video that he had blue eyes, but that after all of that crazy shit started happening, his eyes changed. And what I mean by that, he was all pupil, like big black pupils. His eyes were completely black. So she turns around and looks right at me, and her eyes look just like that. They're dark and they are humongous and black. She's looking right at me at this point, and she has her hand out like this with the cup in her hand, and she's still talking about God knows what, but she's staring right at me, and I'm freaking the fuck out. Like, my body is freaking out. There's alarm bells like emergency. So I grabbed the glass from her. I'm like, thank you, and I just walked away. I walked right back into the living room, and I whispered to Rob like, I want to go, I want to get out of here. We start getting ready to leave. I'm packing my shit up, he's packing his shit up. We told Victor like, we gotta go. So Jen comes in, and while Victor and Jen are talking, Rob turns around and he's like, hey, where's the bong? Jen is completely ignoring him. Victor's saying bye to her, they're talking, and then Victor starts walking out, and again Rob's like, hey, hello, where's the bong? We put the last of our stuff in there, like, what the fuck? She starts acting all stupid and super sketchy, like, it's so dangerous, like, just leave it and then you guys can come pick it up tomorrow. Rob is like, no, I want the fucking bong. Jen gets this crazy fucking look on her face, like, how dare you? Like, how dare you talk to me like that? And at that point, Victor comes up and he's like, let's just go, come on, like, we'll pick it up tomorrow, it's fine, let's just go. And Rob is looking straight, like, dead at her, like, I'm gonna pick it up tomorrow, that shit better still be in there. And we were annoyed, but I just wanted to get the fuck up out of there. We leave, we go home. So we get back home, and I start telling Rob what happened in the kitchen, and he said that he felt super weird in there too. So the next day comes around, and one of us has to go back to go get the bong, and I don't remember why, but I remember Rob was not able to go, so I had to go, and I had to go by myself. So I drive down there, I get there, I knock on the door, and she's like, oh hey, what's going on? And I was like, hey, I just need the bong. And she's like, okay, yeah, come on in. And I was like, I don't really want to come in. Like, can you just grab it for me? And she's like, well, it's gonna take like a few minutes. Let me go grab it. Just sit down. So I'm like, fine. So I go in. I'm like, I'm kind of in a rush, so, you know, I'll sit down for a few minutes. So I sit. She walks into the room. I'm sitting there. I'm waiting. 25 minutes go by. And I'm like, hello, what the fuck? I gotta go. And she doesn't say anything. She doesn't answer. So I'm still yelling. I'm frustrated. And I stand up and I start looking in the room that she walked into. As I'm looking in the room, I start to feel like creeped out again. And then I see something in the corner of my eye. But I look over and I don't see anything. So I'm like, what the fuck? I'm just getting agitated and I'm starting to see shit. And I'm like, hey, Jen, I gotta go. And again, I see something in the corner of my eye. Now I'm really upset and I start walking into the room. I'm like, hey, you need to get me my fucking bong or give me the money that it's worth. I'm not gonna sit here and keep fucking waiting for you, dude. She starts giving me this fucking story about how her friend had taken it last night right after we left. She doesn't have it. She's like, I can't find it, so it had to have been her. And she's like, but if you want to come later on, come with Victor and I'll have it for you, I promise. And I'm feeling so on edge. I just feel so icky. I don't want to be there. So I tell her, if I come back and if you don't have the bong or the money, I'm going to come back and I'm going to beat your ass. And she did not like that. I go back to Victor's house and Beth is there. So I'm pissed. I'm telling everyone what just happened. This bitch is fucking playing me. And if I have to go back there one more time, I'm gonna beat her ass. And she has the nerve to say that her friend took it and that's why it's not there. So while I'm saying all this, Beth is like, that's so funny that she said that her friend took it because I'm the friend that was there this morning and we were smoking out of that fucking bong. And she said that the reason why she said that she had Victor's bong in the first place is because she gave it to her. She gave her the bong. And she said specifically not to tell us, not to tell me, because I would get jealous. And she's like, not only was she saying that, all of that, but she was talking mad shit about you. I was like, what? I don't even know her. Like, I barely had a fucking conversation with her. So the shit that she was saying was that I'm a mouse. I'm a mouse and I sleep all day. And then the other thing that she was saying was that I was using Victor for his drugs. Even though me and Victor did not do the same drugs. He did uppers and he did Xanax. I did H. Two different things. She did the same drugs that he did though, and was 100% using him. And lastly, Beth was like, yeah, and I told her, like, if you have something to say to Lexi, say it to her face. Like, don't tell me, tell her. I'm pissed. I'm fucking angry. I'm like, this bitch doesn't even know me. I had one interaction with her in the kitchen where she creeped me the fuck out. And this is the second interaction I had with her after she had already talked shit about me. Like, what the fuck? So I'm like, you know what? Fuck this bitch. I go back to her house. So at this point, I'm hot. I get there and I'm pounding on the door. And I'm like, better get your ass out here right fucking now. Fuck do you think you are talking shit about me? You don't even know me. Just losing my shit. I hear stomping like coming up to the door and I'm fucking ready. Some guy opens the door and he's like, what's up? Jen's not here. She just left. But she's gonna be back in like 20 minutes. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll come in and I'll wait. I sit there and I'm like, just waiting. After a few minutes, I get up. I'm like, I'm gonna get myself some water so I can use. Again, so dark in there. And then I notice that it's so quiet, like eerily quiet. So I grab a glass, I like rinse it out with water, I put it down, I grab some soap and I start washing my hands. And then I hear footsteps slowly coming up behind me. And I feel this person standing behind me. And my body's still hot. I'm still mad. So in my mind, I'm like, oh good, this bitch is here. So I take my sweet ass time washing my hands. I grab my cup. I start rinsing it out again. While the cup is filling up, I start to feel very much uncomfortable. Like, I feel like this bitch is playing me close. I can literally feel her breathing on the back of my neck. Finally turn around, ready to fight. And I freeze in confusion because I turn around to something that is no longer of this world. I see this thing that is taking shape of an older Caucasian woman. Long, dark hair. She's wearing a long red dress, ripped up. She looked dead. And she had her hands down in fists. And she looked fucking angry. And then I really looked at her again. She has long black hair, white skin, thin build, tall, and she also has green eyes. She looked exactly like Jen. Spit image of Jen, but 20 years older. And my body went from being hot, angry, to cold. And the worst part about it was that I froze. And I felt like I couldn't move. I felt like I couldn't breathe. And this thing fucking jumped at me. It went like this. And when I reacted, it disappeared. After that, it was like running to the living room. I have my hand on my bag, and then I have my hand on the door, and then I'm running out and I'm driving back to Victor's house. So I go back home to Victor's house, flipping out at Rob, I'm flipping out at Beth, I'm flipping out at Victor. So I'm talking about this thing that I just saw. Like, I just saw something and it fucking tried to charge at me. And Beth, who's still sitting there, she's like, I knew her house was haunted because something showed itself to me and it looked just like Jen. I'm pretty sure that's Jen's mom. I'm tripping out. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Hold on. You think you saw her mom? You think that's her mom? So she starts telling me her experience. She said that she was also in the kitchen. She starts to feel something behind her. She said that she turns around and she saw her. She's like, this thing showed itself to me and it looked just like Jen, but that she didn't react. She didn't do anything. She just looked at it. She started praying and that it went away. She also tells me that this other guy named Cody had also seen this spirit. He had seen it in the bathroom. The thing was standing behind him. Oh my god, that's so fucking creepy too. So I went back to Jen's house a few days later to either A, get the bong, B, get the money for the bong, or C, deliver an ass beating, because I was not joking. So I go over there, I knock on the door. She opens the door, like barely opens the door. So she starts screaming at me. I'm screaming at her. We're like having this screaming match back and forth. She's calling me every name in the book. I'm fucking talking shit to her. All of a sudden, this bitch opens the fucking door and she throws the bong at me. Thank God that it was one of those like little bongs. So it didn't even hit me, it missed. What? This bitch did not just fucking throw a bong at me. I'm flipping out. So she threw it and like a fucking coward, she slams the door. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Like, I am talking so much shit. And then I see her on the window on the side of the house and I just see her peeking out. I see that and I start walking up to the window talking shit. So I'm up there and as I'm talking shit, I take a better look. That thing is behind her, standing behind her. Like, I saw it for a split second and she shut the curtains. So after that, she ends up calling the cops on me because she's a fucking snitch. But that's not the end of the story. I don't talk to her or hear about her for years. Years go by. Rob and I have been clean for at least a year or two. And I had said how the neighbors in that area did not fuck with her and they were constantly calling the cops on her because she was always screaming and throwing shit. And we hear through the grapevine that one of those neighbors had called the cops on her. There's a strange smell in the house. Next thing you know, there's a bunch of caution tape around the house. There's a whole investigation, a bunch of cops, ambulances are out there. And then like a week later, they have those big ass dumpsters to clear houses out. No one knew exactly what happened. And I tried to look for any information online and I couldn't find anything. But a few months later, the house was demolished. And I know for a fact that it was demolished because we drove by the house and we saw that the house was demolished. This is what the house looked like when I had known Jen. And then they ended up rebuilding the home. And the pictures that I have found recently show that the house looks like this. I don't know if it still looks like that. I haven't really paid attention to it, but if I do pass by it, I'll see if I can like take a picture of it. So yeah, I never found out what happened. So just like a super quick update, my place has been super quiet and things have been super good. After the cleanses that I had told you guys about, a couple things happened, like sprinkled here and there. Like a month after that, 2-3 things happened, and since then it's been quiet. My mental health, my spirituality is getting back to where it was. Like things are going back to normal. I learned a lot from the situation. I learned a lot about myself, about my triggers. It helped me in a way, but because of that stuff that happened, I'm still paranoid about certain things, which is not good. I don't want to be fearful of stuff. Things are really good right now, so I just wanted to update you guys with that. I really hope that you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna have another video for you guys very soon. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.